live. It'll take a second. Okay, that's live. And then I'm gonna have to edit this doc because that's something I should have switched away from for a long time, but I haven't done so because I'm smart.
Or lazy, like a good Dutchman.
Yeah. All right, let's see if this is actually a bug. Because this is a modified version from the
Eurocup, I still see
from the
EC.
Eurocup version. Yeah, because it still says Eurocup calculation. But that had less matches, so some of the stuff is just a bit weird. Also, Google Docs is just kind of sucks in some regards.
It does the job. It worked for us the last 2 times. Why wouldn't it work a 3rd time?
It's that's not how that works. Yeah. G151.
No, Spengler, it's just talking about Football Manager, it's worse.
It's indeed even worse.
Yeah. Even though I do have to say I love the newest Football Managers, but probably
I
a
haven't
different
played
set.
that one yet. I know it's on Steam. So it would actually be
Yeah,
nice to
you
play
probably don't want
that.
to buy every edition.
Sorry, it's on Game Pass. That's what I meant.
Right. You probably don't want to buy each edition. I prefer to buy a version each 4 years, and you see the changes are massive each time.
See, so it's 3rd from the bottom.
Yeah, it wouldn't be fun, Orlov, if you had plot armor
See,
going
it's
into this
shifted.
bed, right?
Fuck it. Why are you shifted by 1? Can you chase people out of Swamp German? I don't know. What are they doing over there? Oh, they're talking about shoe sizes.
Well, it's the clock season very soon again.
That's true. No, I think so. So Orlov is getting some points, but it's shifted by 1. So there's something going on, something funky going on.
I don't know, but I suppose that's something
Topping with
you'll
3 wins. Yeah, topping is weird.
Yeah.
Don't think
You
people
can probably
top in football.
fix that behind the scenes, right?
Oh yeah, I easily see. This is wrong. This is supposed to be there. So that blue thing, which is H54, needs to be H53, and then I think it's correct. So what else? Yeah, there's some other fun stuff happened where rows got shifted by 1, and I realized that I should have. That I really should have not done it this way, and as in I should have just used some other free version, which is probably online. But instead, I built it myself, and that should have. Okay, it sort of didn't fix it. It fixed the point, so those are correct now.
Uruguay, huh? Interesting choice.
I don't know. I may or may not have actually been brain dead when I made these predictions, so I think they're kind of.
It can't be worse than when you had the Netherlands and Belgium in the final of the Euro
Yeah,
Cup.
but that was a meme. Like I knew that was not going to be correct. See, this is also not right.
Well, you got Prince of Persia out of the deal, so we're all winners then.
There we go.
Yeah.
That looks a lot better. Yeah, I think that fixed it. But here comes the funnest part. I'm gonna need to add in Spengler here.
Mm-hmm.
And that means everything has to be widened by 1, which is not guaranteed to work at all.
And it also means Spengler wins by default because the last person that's entered wins all predictions.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, because Orlov had all green before, and you entered my scores last afterwards, and after that, all my scores were entered.
Let's see. What do we have? We have your top scorer person is Mbappe. Not insane. Top scorer team is France. Not even going for the spread there. Winner is Brazil. I think
Never
most
went
people
to,
predicted Brazil by now.
Then he didn't go to the casino. Spread your chances. But yeah, I can see why people put in Brazil. The bookies.
Yeah, I would say the
prefer
bookies also agree in that regard.
Yeah.
So that's not immensely surprising.
Yeah.
Okay, let me put in your predictions and see how much it's going to break. Because of course you can't copy those directly. I first have to copy paste them in, and then I can put them in here. And we also do that in here. And the smart among you will see that there are nothing gets done automatically. Because this wasn't built for that. Oh, that this is actually still working. Impressive. I found it funny that both you and Romby don't predict the Netherlands to be winning the pool, whereas everyone else has.
Good reasons for it, and we'll dive into it pretty soon, I expect.
I mean, we can already start. I can do this in the background.
Fair enough.
Unless
so,
yeah, because you can open your own version and you can talk us through.
Yeah, I wrote down some talking points for myself, but yeah, what we figured we would do is we go through the groups one by one. First, I go through a group and Nitro reacts to why I think my standings or my predictions are wrong, and then for Group B we do it the other way around. So, yeah, I have Senegal coming out on top, the Netherlands coming second, Qatar coming third, and Ecuador coming fourth. I think people are sleeping on Senegal's quality, even without Mane, who unfortunately won't be playing the first match as it looks right now. I do think they still have a lot of quality on the pitch, with the Chelsea goalkeeper and Koulibaly leading the defense. They have plenty of players in higher leagues like Ligue 1, the Primeira division in Portugal. They also have players over in La Liga. On average, I think they score better than the Netherlands, that either has substitutes in some clubs like Depay, who's basically injured as well, and a lot of Ajax players that are not having a great time at the moment.
I mean, that's actually true. Ajax has been performing impressively poorly recently, so it wouldn't actually surprise me if that leaks through significantly. I think. Okay, so let me just, since you're talking here, I can just put in your scores, so I can actually get an idea what you actually predicted. You predicted one win, yeah. So between the Netherlands and Senegal, you put 1-0. I can see that happening. I think because I put in an 0-2. I think it can go either way because the Netherlands, I think their first match is really gonna show what form they're in. If they perform well, I think they're gonna do well the whole tournament. But we've had these moments before where the Netherlands performed like absolute dog shit. And
yeah, I would say it's the other way around is possible as well. I mean, a lot of tournaments we looked very promising in the group phase, and then got knocked out at a game where we absolutely didn't
like in
expect
the European Championship last time,
or against Russia,
yeah.
Or against what did we do again in the last World? It's been ages since we've been at the World Cup, so who knows?
I was gonna say it's been a while.
Exactly, we only do Euro Cup, right?
God damn it!
But,
yeah.
But yeah, the Netherlands has trouble playing with consistency, and there's two factors we haven't considered yet. The climate. I mean, there's air conditioning in the stadium, but we don't really know how the heat will still affect player recovery and training output. I think.
I get your point there. I'm kind of curious to see how that'll be like a global factor. So.
True. Yeah.
But you could argue that players from Senegal will be better at it than players from the Netherlands. That's true.
And another thing, I actually think the Senegal squad might be cheered by the Qatari locals because we criticized Qatar a lot for their human rights abuses, which I would say I completely agree with, of
As
course.
they should. Yeah.
Yes, they should indeed. In fact, a lot of people would say they haven't done enough, and I completely agree. But I think that, especially since Senegal is a Muslim country as well, odds are that they are going to cheer for the Senegalese instead.
Yeah. I don't.
And
Do you think the home effect will be that significant?
it's very
I'm
small
not so
part.
sure.
It's what I gave you was a summary of multiple smaller factors that could eventually become a factor. I
You
mean,
think-
the last time
yeah.
we lost in Hungary to the Czech Republic, people in the end complained how hot it was. Well, it's probably even worse in
Okay.
Qatar.
I mean, yeah, okay. That's I don't think I'm curious to see how big of a factor that's actually going to be. I don't think you're wrong per se, but I think it's very difficult to predict.
I know, yeah, but it's for me it's a factor of form and quality in the squad and these other smaller factors.
Yeah.
Orlov does raise the point that Senegal had issues with some smaller teams in their group as well, but I would say that's. I think it was a while ago. I think their friendly results were pretty decent lately. So who knows? And I also think that the Nations League results are a bit skewed because I don't think a lot of teams took them too serious. And I would have to say we have the Netherlands did play in a weak Nations League group. If you consider the other three teams, which we'll go through later in the podcast as well.
Yeah. Yeah, my comment with this is mostly that I think you can be right. I think if you are going to be right, you'll be right pretty significantly. But I think that if the Netherlands is gonna fuck it up, they're gonna fuck it up like it would not surprise me if this happens that they actually like lose to, I don't know, Qatar at some point. Because we are good at shitting the bed hard. So I think your result is unlikely simply for the fact that either we're gonna sweep this entire group or we're gonna perform like ass.
Yeah, they could still draw Qatar and proceed on second place based on goal difference or something like that. Yeah, I honestly don't. Yeah, if I have to choose between the two, especially because of the players we bring, including someone like Daley Blind, who shouldn't be playing anymore, honestly.
Yeah, they're yeah. You know, I can agree with these points. I think if factors like heat are going to be relevant, then indeed it can end up the way you say it will. Let me double check if I put it Robbie stuff correctly. I mean Qatar and Ecuador. I think that can go either way, really.
The reason I had Qatar on third place is because of the home advantage, of course, and because Ecuador only performs well if they play on high altitude, which is their home ground. They're still good at minimizing losses. They generally don't lose by a lot, but they have a similar issue scoring. While Qatar actually won the Asia Cup, so I rate them higher.
Qatar won the Asia Cup. Yeah. I honestly really don't know that much about the way Qatar and Ecuador play to really say a whole lot about this, unfortunately.
When I went through a lot of these teams, I just took a look at the wiki page, honestly.
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
They're in their continental cups.
That's probably a good idea.
Belkat, you can
go do it.
Yeah.
You still have time.
Yeah.
And then I have to adjust this thing for one more person, which that'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's about the same amount of work as it just to add one more.
Hello. Also, since you're Brazilian, make sure you enter Brazil as the winner.
Yes, or else the Brazilians will come for you.
Yes.
Let's see, there is one more row here for everyone. Makes no sense though.
Would you like to lead Group B? Group A.
Group B, what do we have? England, Iran, USA, and Wales. So we can take a look at what I predicted for the order there. England's consensus seems pretty good that the England will go on top. Wales for Feka. Okay, Feka's scores aren't improper yet, because he had just gave me victors and not scores. So, but the USA for Spengler on top is a very interesting result there. Hasn't the USA men's team been absolute dog shit?
That's actually not that bad. I have them second for a reason.
Second for a reason. And what do I have them as? I have them third. I think Wales will beat them out in the end. I think just support wise, I think the USA is gonna end up losing. What's the deadline for submitting a prediction? Technically the day before. If you can send it today, that would be fantastic. Otherwise, I would appreciate it the day before the match starts.
And you wouldn't copy our predictions, right?
You wouldn't.
The information we share here.
You wouldn't steal a car.
Would you?
No. Okay, let me test Doc Spengler's scores real quick. Everything should turn green. That actually works. Very nice. What else in Group 2? Iran.
Yeah, I have Wales at the bottom.
You have Wales at the bottom.
Yep.
Again, I haven't really checked Wales' recent performance, but I think they'll do a little better than that.
I have to say, I think Wales are way past their best. They always had a decent squad of players that were willing to work hard and had a few stars, but those stars more or less have retired.
They're gone. Okay, that could explain why my memory of them is better than they really are.
With especially Bale. I mean, before last time he was still active in decent competitions, but now he moved on to the MLS. Only scored 3 goals there and is more busy golfing. He's doing that for a few years, but he completely dropped off in the past years. And the rest of the team isn't much better. I think they lost pretty hard in the Nations League group without having any real chance against weak opponents. And they only won one of their out of their last 8 games, and that was the game against Ukraine. If they didn't win that, they wouldn't be here. But all of the other games were lost. And most of their players are either playing in the English Championship or having a really poor time at Nottingham Forest at the moment.
Okay. Other take. Iran. Okay, yeah. I was going to check their respective rankings, but Iran is just below Wales with like a very insignificant difference between the two. So I guess you could argue that's another toss-up.
The reason I rated Iran slightly higher is because they do have 2 players, even though I heard that the best is perhaps injured, Taremi, who's having a really good season for FC Porto, and Moharami, who's playing for Dinamo Zagreb. So those are their best 2 players. They did manage to beat a side like South Korea to qualify, and they basically have a semi-home advantage since Qatar and Iran are right next to each other and have somewhat friendly relationships.
Frankly, I think that USA, Iran, Wales can be a toss-up between any 3 of them. A slight setup happens. Let me just check what you put in. I think any slight setup can toss that.
Hello, Finboy.
Toss that salad quite a bit.
Actually, that's the reason I ranked the USA higher. They actually have some really good players spread out over multiple
Talk about Group B.
Competitions. Especially Pulisic and Reina, probably their best players. They're still around in the top squads of Europe. and they
Okay.
still they also have players in Ligue 1 and Serie A. So since none of the other squads can count on that at the moment, I would say USA on paper has the strongest
Sorry.
squad.
What I wanted to say is that you predicted very few ties and a lot of wins, and I wanted to compare it to my predictions, and I predicted a lot more ties in this regard, maybe a bit too many. I think it'll fall between our results.
Yeah, I would definitely think so. The thing is, I think it's very hard to predict draws because that usually requires a few specific moments to go your way. I think it's safer if you do predictions to go for a clear winner because that
Yeah.
makes it likelier you get at least 10 points.
Orlov, there's only 2 people predicting that England will lose to the USA. There's only one person predicting that the USA will beat England, and only a single person predicting 2 people predicting they won't beat the cup. But Fekka's scores are incomplete, so that doesn't even count, really. I'm pretty sure everyone thinks that England will just wipe that group.
Yeah, they're not in great form, but considering the quality of the squad, there's
Would
no way.
say, considering the opposition,
Yeah.
I think USA, Wales, and Iran will be a bit of a toss up. It seems that a lot of people do have a consensus. Wales, USA, Iran is occurs 3 times. So I think that's what we'll see. I think here, if you get lucky, you can score some points. But I don't. I wouldn't expect massive upsets here. If you also want to take a look at this document, by the way, if you go to my Sports Ball channel, it's pinned. You can just take a look yourself as well. I want to move on to Group C.
Yeah. So I think everyone here has Argentina as the winner of the group at the very least.
Yep,
So
everyone.
yeah. I honestly think the biggest discussion here will be between Mexico and Poland, especially like someone like the Black Weep hammers on the tradition
Black
that Mexico
wins.
always comes second in the group and then gets knocked out in the stage in the round of six.
The last match. Or
Yeah.
well, yeah, I mean you're right because everyone has Argentina as the winner, and everyone except Shadow has Saudi Arabia as the last.
Yeah.
Looking at my scores, that's the wrong sheet. Looking at my scores, I've got a victory between the two. Probably Mexico winning from Poland. I don't know what you have here exactly.
I had Poland winning.
You have the flip side.
Yeah.
I think
Because if you compare
that can go either way. Mexico,
the
Poland here. Very
I
low
think
agreement, so no one really knows what's going to happen here. We have 3 people predicting a tie. You're the only one predicting a victory for Poland here.
I'm
Very
surprised.
interesting.
It's to me it's at the very least a toss-up. But yeah, if you take a look at the squad, Mexico used to have a decent squad with players playing in decent competitions like Portugal, Spain, France, and some other competitions as well. But at the moment, it's really poor actually. There's very few Mexican players that are doing really well in Europe at the moment. If you compare that to Poland, yeah, there's of course Robert Lewandowski, even though he couldn't be decisive in the last tournaments. But at the moment, there's a lot of Polish players that are mainly playing in Serie A at the moment. And because of a bigger part of the Polish squad playing in Serie A, I believe their squad is too good on paper to lose to Mexico in its current form.
Yeah. I don't know. I think most people agree that it just went up. Anyway, I'll take a look at that in a second.
Oh, don't worry, Finboy. I have them lose immediately in the round of 16 afterwards, so don't worry. Orlov is highlighting the big weakness of Brazil as well. Already? You're going too fast, man. We're not at Group G yet.
There we go.
Anything else you'd like to say about Group C?
I think. I mean, sure. I think that between. I think that between Poland and Mexico, it'll be a. I think it'll land on the side of Mexico, to be honest. But if what you're saying, well, I'm assuming what you're saying is correct, and then I think it can kind of go either way. So, bit of a toss-up. It will be interesting to see who actually passes on in the to the group phase, or to the knockout. But I mean, everyone agrees basically about the start and the end. Just the middle bits a bit.
Yeah, and whoever
Just a bit interesting.
proceeds gets kicked out in the next round anyway.
Yeah.
But we could score. I could score a few points here or lose a few, I suppose.
Yeah, I need to fix this slightly, but I think something's funky about the total amount of people.
That's some Russian scores there.
Oh yeah, this is coded like hot fucking garbage. As really shouldn't surprise anyone. Yeah, oh yeah, there we go. The total amount of people needs to be adjusted. That should be 9.
I would say huge Finboy, but they do have a backup. I forgot the name, but he is playing at Benfica, and I think he's one of the better talents at the moment. So Lo Celso is definitely a loss, and one of the reasons why Argentina could perhaps not live up to its potential. But let me look up the name. I think it was.
If it actually doesn't go through, our timeline will dissolve. It'll be interesting to see. Just for people who are not familiar, we don't actually fill in the knockout phase yet. So if Mexico doesn't go through, it won't actually affect the scores that much. I mean, it'll mostly give Spam a benefit. I think he got the golden foot again. Yeah.
It was Enzo Fernandez. Yeah, Enzo Fernandez is only 21 years old, and he shows the same intelligence as Lo Celso has. Of course, he needs to be integrated into the team, but so far he's doing it at Benfica. Benfica hasn't lost this season yet, along with PSG, the only teams that haven't lost in the top leagues yet, even though you could argue Portugal is not one of them. But Benfica's form has been impressive, including the Champions League.
You're forgetting one thing. Somehow Shadow has a very Shadow has a knack for making really stupid suggestions and them becoming true. And he has Saudi Arabia second in this group.
Interesting.
Which I think is he is the only one who has them beating Poland.
I mean, we slacked off Saudi Arabia maybe a bit too much. I mean, it's possible that both. It's technically possible that Mexico and Poland will both implode because, let's be honest, both are not in great form. Saudi Arabia did come first in their qualifiers for Asia, above a team, I think, above South Korea. I'm not sure. Let me check. It was. Oh yeah, they came first in their qualified group above Japan and Australia. So I don't think they're going to be pushovers. So it's not it's not impossible that Saudi Arabia comes second, I suppose. But if you take a look at the squad quality, I would say at least Poland should have a better squad on paper. But then again, Saudi Arabia has a sort of semi-home advantage as well, maybe. So if they really react poor to the heat, even though Mexico should be used to that as well.
They're 51st, probably. Yeah. I don't know. I think nothing really special is going to happen here, and
I mean, it's not impossible as if it's. Let's just say I've seen bigger meme results around on paper.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. last time, for the people who weren't around, Shadow had some really stupid correct results. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen. Which country is the most likely to team up trip up Argentina?
In this group, I would
I mean,
say if I have to pick, I'd say Poland because I think they come second. But honestly, I think
I think none of them should do it. If
yeah.
it's gonna be either Mexico or Poland, depending on which theory you subscribe to. But I mean, really, Argentina should just win this. Have 3 victories here. There's really no reason for them not to. But yeah, Shadow going for a very interesting result there could net him a lot of points. Because if he gets this one right, it knocks everyone's out of here. It's basically guaranteed like 20-point advantage over everyone else.
True.
Yeah, that's true. They did win the Copa America last time. I don't know how much that actually matters today, but
I would say a lot. I think they've proven that they can beat a better technical side by being a better team and working harder, and that's a good reason for me to predict them coming out the winner. But that's very deep into the future because we still have to go to Group D first. Do you want to start off on Group D?
sure. I mean, I can go quickly put in my scores that I have there, but because I read an interesting just as a side note, I read an interesting article from 538. I can actually grab that real quick. Which is for once not about politics, but about football. About Group of Death, where they basically took a look at the how is there one group that is much more difficult than normal or much easier than normal, and their conclusions, just kind of skipping to the end, is basically that all of the groups are kind of equal these years, which I personally interpret as there are upsets possible. Like no one will expect the Netherlands to lose the Group A, but it's not the most impossible.
Yeah, I do think that there's not as many teams that are just here to be happy to be here and just get kicked around. I don't think there's a lot of scores like that. I do agree that, but I do think there's definitely more competitive groups than some, and they base it on ELO, which is absolute dog shit because Belgium is still at the top for some reason.
I mean, you gotta have something, right? And just for the fact that they have nothing else really.
Yeah, I mean this is the work of people that just like statistics and all.
Of course it is. They're basically trying to figure out like is it worse than normal? But you can basically see that the Netherlands is most likely to just be a blowout, whereas the G, which we'll come to later, is most unlikely.
Yeah,
that being said,
Group F is definitely not as competitive as the list suggests because some teams there are really propped up. Like Canada and Belgium, let's just say, I don't think they deserve their ranking at the moment.
Well, we'll get there when we get there.
Exactly.
For now, though, these are my scores for Group D. France winning. This shouldn't surprise anyone. I'm pretty sure everyone has France winning, except for Feke. But Feke filled in that Denmark would be the top scoring person. So I'm not entirely sure how seriously he should take his scores.
He's not part of the bet, so he can be a bit more safe.
Do whatever he wants. But I'm kind of curious what he filled in. Oh yeah, because he just filled in winners. So Denmark wins every game in his
to be honest, I do think Denmark has a good squad, and I think they could make life really difficult for a lot of teams.
I agree, but that's why almost everyone has them second.
Yeah.
Feke has them first, so whatever, they would be second otherwise. And the only exception is Orlov, who actually has Denmark third behind Australia, which I think is a very interesting hot take. Because I'm pretty sure, I mean, I'm going to speak for more people, so correct me if I'm wrong, but between Australia and Tunisia, it's basically going to be a bit of a toss-up.
I would say I actually predicted the draw between France and Denmark because that's what they did last time as well. Knowing the French, they don't want to lose too much
Where's the
energy during the
go?
group phase, and if they can get a draw with Denmark, they'll be happy with it as well.
I think France can be weaker than people expect. I mean, look at last year and against Switzerland, or 2 years ago against Switzerland.
That was last
But
year, actually.
no, it was 2 years ago.
They played in 2021.
Freaking hell, you're right.
Yeah.
No, you're correct. Yeah, but I think France can be weaker than expected, but I don't think it'll happen. France
I mean,
versus Denmark. If I can
yeah, they
quickly find
lost.
the match.
They lost that match because they had everything going wrong for them in that particular
That's
match.
true.
It was a perfect storm of bad luck for them. They lost 4 defenders before the match started, and they actually had to play Clement Langley, who's absolutely terrible. I watched him years at Barca, and he got subbed off at half time for good reason. Yeah, the opponent scored all possible chances. France missed many, and then Mbappe missed a penalty. So I would
That's
say that
true.
was still a perfect storm of bad
Yeah.
luck. And they did have to recycle a lot of their midfielders and defenders out this year, but there's a lot of talent there as well.
Denmark is solid too, but I don't think this seed is such an easy prediction. Well, taking a look at, say, France Denmark, everyone predicts France will win there, except you, Spengler, who predicted tie, and Feku, of course, predicts the Danish win.
Yeah.
Between Tunisia and Australia, there's very low consensus. No one really has any fucking clue what's going to happen there, which falls in line with what I think. Orlov, though, does indeed think that Australia will beat Denmark.
Yeah, I honestly think Denmark has such a great squad, except for attack. Their attack is weak, but they have a decent goalkeeper, still in Schmeichel, even though he didn't play too well in the Premier League, fair enough. But they got a quality defense led by Kjær. They still got Eriksen performing well. They have Damsgaard, who scored a lot of goals for Denmark during the Euro Cup, and Højbjerg. Højbjerg is perhaps Tottenham's best player this season with 3 goals and 3 assists in the Premier League already.
Well, I'm curious to see what upsets are going to happen. I also just noticed that Romby and Mies share a lot of scores together, so that's going to be very interesting. Yeah, I think this group, everyone except Orlov basically thinks that France Denmark are going to be 1-2, and Australia and Tunisia are just going to be a toss-up.
Yeah.
It's to see if Australia is stronger than they are. I mean, you could argue it's the heat.
True. Yeah, the reason I had Australia come out on top is because Australia has slightly better players playing in the top 5 leagues in Europe, but not by much, and they generally don't play much. But the Tunisian squad is mostly playing in Tunisia. Neither are in great form. Australia lost the semifinals in the Asia Cup to Qatar, 4-0 even. They came third in the third round of qualifiers for the World Cup and had to beat the United Arab Emirates and Peru in playoffs to make it to the World Cup. In contrast, Tunisia came third in the group but advanced to the knockout stages of the Africa Cup in 2021. They managed to beat Nigeria but lost to Burkina Faso. So I don't think that's a great record either. In order to qualify, they came first in the group and beat Mali over 2 matches, which isn't a great nation like Nigeria.
Like losing to Qatar 4-0.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think this is just a toss-up. I think if one of them has a good day, they can get lucky, but the chance of either of them advancing to the group stage is to the knockout stage is basically nil.
I would say Denmark has a much better squad than than both of them. I mean, it's still possible. I mean, it's football over 1 match.
But yeah, that's always kind of the thing here, because say Denmark has a tie against Australia, and then Australia beats Tunisia.
Yeah.
That could flip it just right. Could have it come down to goal score.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the story for Denmark and France. I think Denmark and France will just happily agree to a draw, so they both advance, and then see who scores the most. And because France has an actual, perhaps the best attacking line in the tournament, I think they will outscore Denmark, because Denmark's attack line is held up by the likes of Braithwaite and Dolberg, which is what are the odds on France be boring? High. I mean, it's Deschamps, but boring is good. Boring wins you tournaments. So
I think France going to be pretty good at just winning with decent score lines.
yeah.
I think I've got them a bit higher than otherwise, but because they're playing kind of mediocre teams.
Yeah, I think especially out of the knockout, or once they reach the knockout stages, I think they run into the weaker teams, which makes them advance quite deep into the tournament.
I have not filled in the structure at all. So I'm not sure who they could even meet.
Yeah. Well, honestly, they a lot of people are sleeping on that as well. But the French talents are pretty good as well. I mean, Paul Pogba and N'Golo Kante are out, which is a big loss. But Varane is still there. Pavard is still there, even though he did lose his place in the Bayern squad to Mazraoui. But now they have Ferdinand Mendy, Saliba, Upamecano, Camavinga, Fofana, and multiple better talents, perhaps. So it's still a good squad, but we'll have to see whether they can still perform.
We can move on to Group E.
Yep. So,
which, well, besides Spengler, everyone seems to kind of agree about what's happening here, which is Germany and Spain in the top two, with most likely Germany winning.
Yeah.
With the Black Wins thinking Spain will top out, which I can very much see happening. But Spengler thinks Costa Rica will beat Germany, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, they used to have a decent squad. They still managed to qualify well, and I think the reason Doc Spengler picked that is because they were a surprise last time and managed to advance. But most of their squad is just playing in North America at the moment, except for their goalkeeper, Keylor Navas. But Keylor Navas is no longer playing at PSG. And last year, when he did play, he did not impress me. So I think Costa Rica is sort of past its best. And it's reflected in the qualifiers as well. Costa Rica did come fourth in the North American qualifiers behind the United States, Canada, and Mexico. So nothing there looks great either. And yeah, their form in friendlies isn't great either.
I mean, everyone has them last, except for Spengler, who has them second, and I think that's a mistake.
Yeah.
Because that'll require a pretty big upset. Because Japan isn't the strongest nation either, but they're like consistently okay.
They have a decent midfield. I think most of their midfield is playing in reputed squads like Eintracht Frankfurt and all, who's playing Champions League. I think Kamada is their best player, who qualified for the next round of the Champions League as well. He scored 7 goals and 2 assists in 11 matches in the Bundesliga. Good. That's not bad at all for a midfielder.
Spengler predicts a 4-1 for Costa Rica, which is an interesting scoreline, to be fair.
Yep.
I mean, there's 3 ties, 5 victories for Japan, and then the single victory for Costa Rica. That'll be an upset, to be fair, but I don't think it'll happen.
If he predicts that right, I would say he has a crystal ball. I would not have dreamt giving them a chance this run, but we'll see.
Yeah, the thing is, Orlov, we've seen in tournaments before, like 2 years ago, or last year, I guess. That
it's even more boring.
Anything can happen.
Actually, we have not yet made it to Canada, Lucky. So if you want to know whether we're going to slack them off or not, stick around.
You can see that in a second.
Yeah.
I think in general this will be I think Germany and Spain will be an interesting match.
Yeah, actually,
and Japan, Costa Rica. Otherwise, I don't think that's going to be that interesting.
if you asked me 3 months ago, I would have rated Spain higher, but because of the developments this year, I actually rate Germany higher than Spain at the moment. The Spanish midfield is basically the Barcelona midfield at the moment. So Busquets, Gavi, and Pedri. I had high hopes of that, even though I did know that Busquets is way past his best. But in the Champions League, the midfield of Barcelona has been blown away. They have great technical ability, but they miss the work rate and physical ability to keep up with the world's best at the moment. They still don't have a great goalkeeper, and they still don't have a great attacking line. And if you compare it to Germany, Germany perhaps has the best midfield in the tournaments. They have Gundogan and Kimmich as defending midfielders. And in front of them, they have great players as well. For example, Musiala. I think Musiala is perhaps going to be the most dangerous player. He's only 90 years old, and he scored 9 goals and 4 assists in 13 matches. Apart from that, they have Sane, Gosens, Hofman. So I can't think of a squad that has a better midfield.
Well, it's only the Blackmans and Spengler who predict something different. Most people seem to agree with you that Germany has a really good squad.
Yeah. And I would even go as far that maybe Musiala could be an outsider for the top scorer title. I don't think a lot of people know him yet. But
the thing with top scorer team is that it's always a bit of a gamble because it can always change quite a lot in the knockout phase as well.
Yeah, if you don't know which team is going to blow out all the teams, it's safe to go with the team that you think will at least make the semifinals, because that means they play 7 matches.
I mean, we see what? Brazil 3 times, France twice, Argentina twice, and then we've got Denmark and England as the outside picks, which is, well, a meme pick and sort of serious, but this is also not impossible.
I don't think England will score that many goals because Southgate doesn't like to go all out either. They prefer to defend a 2-0 lead or something like that. They will, if the opponent is really weak, they will go further, of course, but it's not his style. Similar as Deschamps for France. I don't see them score a lot of goals because I don't think they like to waste energy. But it's definitely possible that one match they get bored and score 9 goals or something, perhaps.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. I mean, if one team gets bored and scores 9 goals, they automatically win that.
I think in the previous years we have seen that the top scorer was almost never someone who actually made it to the finals.
Yeah, exactly. But it's so difficult to predict one team that will excel 1 or 2 games. The Netherlands was pretty good at it as well. They scored tons. Like for example, everyone thought the Netherlands was perhaps a contender for world champions after they beat Spain 5-1, and after that it really went downhill.
Yeah, it all imploded.
Yep, exactly.
Exactly.
So
it's basically who has a great match.
Yeah.
People seem to agree that Kane will have that. Messi, Mbappe, Martinez are just kind of, it will happen to that team, same as Kane, and then you have me, who has the outside choice.
I also stacked it on Messi scoring something like 9 goals in the last 3 matches for Argentina.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I picked own goal because in the past 3 tournaments, I think own goal turned out to be the top scorer.
Yeah, fair. Especially in our last Euro Cup, I think they scored 9 own goals or something like that.
It was really bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's still possible, but that's stuff you just don't count on. It'll
be really funny. It'll be really funny if it does happen.
Yeah, definitely. And if it were up to me, if own goal wins, you could get the score ×2, but I'm not sure the rest agrees.
Nah, I've got the benefit that multiple teams have an own goal player, so that's why I'll keep it the same.
Yeah, but I do know who you're referring to, but I think they'll get eliminated early in most cases.
Yeah, but I think so. In the Euro Cup, we saw it happen very regularly in almost every group. I don't think there was any team that really popped out there with own goals, but a lot of teams made 1 or 2 throughout the tournament.
Anything to add to Group E?
I think it'll end up happening with the way most people think it is going to happen. Germany, Spain, Japan, Costa Rica. There are 7 people that think the exact same thing are going to happen, which is it doesn't happen in any other group basically. And you could argue that people are stupid, but in this case, I think the bookies and the consensus will agree.
Yeah, Orlov. The reason I would consider that as well, except that Messi is more or less the penalty taker and free kick taker, and that will probably up him up a few goals if he does indeed play 7 matches at the very least. So that's why I could only pick Messi if I had to pick someone from Argentina.
So then we can move on to Group F.
Yeah,
slightly more divided.
Time to piss off Lucky, I suppose.
Canada is consensus that they're gonna kind of suck. Finboy is the only one who has them as a winner. Then it's Spengler who has them second. Then most people have them third, and then the lone Finboy who has them fourth. I'm pretty sure. I mean, yeah, you can see the consensus here. People think Canada will suck, but Morocco will suck a bit more. Croatia and Belgium, I think, is going to be an interesting match to watch. I have them both on 6 points.
That makes sense.
Which is actually not. That's interesting. Something's not right here.
Which team lost to one of the other teams? For you then?
No, I think something's wrong here. This is not right because there's two wins, but no losses and no ties. No.
Yeah. Did you fill in the scores? You could take a quick.
Oh yeah, no, they're 100% filled in.
Okay.
They're just not correctly tallied, I think.
I can take a look.
Because where do we have Belgium?
Yeah, you have them.
Croatia, I've got them tied. Yeah, see, this is not.
Yeah, you got them drawn. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Now they're gonna show up correctly. So yeah, no, they're proper.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, and you have Belgium advance first in the group based on goal difference. I see.
Yeah, based on goal difference. I think for you, what do you have? You might have it just flipped the other way around. We can check.
No, I do have Croatia beating Belgium actually.
Okay.
Because
I don't think that's impossible either. I've got a 2-2 because I think it'll be a 2-1, and then at the end one team will get a spurt and just tie it at like the last minute.
Yeah. Now, I think Belgium is way over the hill as well. They used to be able to count on world-class players a lot more, and now it's just Courtois and De Bruyne. Because Lukaku and Eden Hazard are just they just completely fallen off the stage. They have some decent talent, but only decent talents in Vaas. They have Vaas. De Ketelaar and Openda, but I don't think they're that good. And they still play relics like Vertonghen and Alderweireld in defense, who are 33 and 35 and way past the best.
Finboy, you say that the Belgian defense looks like a geriatric party, but you have them lose to Canada and beating Croatia. So I'm not entirely sure how you have that, how that matches up with what you said.
So I think their defense is going to cost them once again, and especially since the rest of the quality of the squad went down as well. I can only give them second place, especially if you compare it to Croatia. Croatia has a really old team as well, but in general they still have the quality there, and they also have a few younger talents. They still have Kovacic, Petkovic, Budimir, Lovren, Vida, Perisic, and Brozovic, and of course. They still have Luka Modric at the age of 37, but he's still perhaps one of the best central midfielders in the game. And they have younger talents like Maher, Stanisic, and Guardiola.
I think it's going to be close.
I actually don't think it's going to be close. I think Croatia is going to be much better than Belgium.
No, I think it will be. I think what's going to happen is that Belgium or Croatia are either the match between them two will be edged by Croatia, because what I'm not betting the smartest here. What I basically think will happen is they will tie, and Belgium will just kind of by luck have a better goal score. But that could very easily flip to the other side.
Yep. Yeah, no, I'll give my reason. I think Croatia has simply a better squad at this point, which Belgium at the moment.
I see that. I can see that happening.
Yeah, and then about Canada. Yeah, I think actually Morocco. I don't think Morocco is without a chance. Actually, I did put Morocco third, but a lot has changed since last time. Since they removed their head coach, things went a lot better. Players like Ziyech have been welcomed back in again because a year ago the Moroccan squad would only make headlines because of conflicts with the head coach and the players. And they have two really good players now as well. They have Mazraoui and Hakimi. I see Hakimi at PSG. Not always playing his best, but he has great pace, acceleration, good cross, and he can score as well. Mazraoui, actually beat Pavard in becoming the first choice for right back at Bayern München. So they do have quality, and they also have some decent quality in the squad as well, with players playing in La Liga, Serie A, and Ligue 1. So if Morocco perform decently, they could even beat Belgium here, I think.
They could even beat Belgium. I don't think that'll happen. I think it could be a lucky thing, but I don't think it'll really happen. Also, this is not right. Thank you. Very cool.
And because because that's where my thoughts are on this group, it's for me automatic that I put Canada last because I don't think Canada has any of those players. They have decent players in Ukpo, Buchanan, David, and Eustachio. And those are mostly players that are just there. They do have one really good player, Davies, who's having a really good season at Bayern München as well. But apart from that, I think the Canadian squad just lacks the quality because, once again, most of them are just playing in Canada or the United States. I've seen a lot of them at Toronto, actually. So, but if they do well, perhaps they can make a nice transfer to the bigger leagues in Europe.
That fixed that? Yes, it did. Good. But this is a low consensus match, I think, as well. Morocco, you're the only one who has Morocco winning.
Yeah, I know they came.
One person has a tie. The rest all has. I've got a tie as well, but I think I can see how your line of reasoning will pull through, but I can also very easily see them just not show up.
Morocco, you mean?
Yeah, Morocco. Canada, you can also argue the same for Canada.
They had decent expectations as well in last World Cup, where they were considered a bit of an outsider. Perhaps being able to challenge Spain and Portugal and then lost to Iran. But I honestly think they have a better head coach this time and that they have a more cohesive squad with better quality players than they had last time. So I'm willing to give them a new chance, especially since they're also again playing in the desert instead of some place more temperate. So yeah, I think they have a better chance than 4 years ago. And yeah, I simply don't rate the CONCACAF region that high because they compete with a weaker Mexico than ever, and the United States that had to deal with a lot of injuries. So I wouldn't be surprised if a team Canada has a decent squad, especially considering that region, but I just can't rate them much higher than that. So should we move on to Group G?
Yeah, I just want to check one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I saw that the last one here was not actually calculating properly.
It's a great way to fact check your documents, right?
I mean, yeah, when I see everyone predicting that Brazil will win, and then the document saying that's not true, then something's wrong here. And now that does say it's the case. There we go. Group G.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's my
Gee,
turn.
I wonder what people predicted. Well, besides Finboy making a hot take, everyone predicts Brazil will win.
I think there's a interesting race for second place. I think that I see there's a lot of changes as well.
Yeah,
in
Serbia
the-
and Switzerland. Besides, I mean, Finboy predicts Serbia, so they'll Brazil's in second. And
To be
then
honest,
you have Spankovic predicting Cameroon and Serbia last, just like Romby, which is going to be very interesting.
I do think Serbia and Switzerland are a bit of a toss-up because Serbia has a really good squad on paper, or at least a decent squad on paper, but so does Switzerland, honestly. I would say most of the Serbian players are playing in League or in Serie A, so in Italy. And they have some good talent there for sure, especially Vlahovic, which I expect the most of. They have, but players like Kostic and Tadic are not having great seasons at the moment. On the other hand, Switzerland has Granit Xhaka, a veteran that has been around for many rounds and is now perhaps having the season of his life at Arsenal, with Arsenal still sitting at the top of the Premier League. So, because of that, I gave Switzerland a slight edge over Serbia, who also failed to perform decently in the last tournaments, since expectations are relatively high for the Serbian squad the last two tournaments, and they always failed to deliver so far. Despite them having a decent squad on paper, while Switzerland's squad is also really cohesive and is also counting on some Balkan talent, which also doesn't sit too well with Serbia, but they did do well in the last tournaments compared to Serbia.
It seems a lot of people think they'll do pretty well.
Yeah.
To be fair, I mean, let's see, what do you have for them and score wise? Yeah, you have them lose to Switzerland, I assume.
Yeah, by a low margin. So I think it's a toss-up, draw, and then things will be completely different already, I think.
Yeah.
But
you're the only one who thinks Switzerland. Oh, sorry, you and the Blackwinds think Switzerland will win that.
Yeah.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ties.
Yeah.
And then me and Feke going for the Serbian win.
Yeah.
I think Balkan Magic will do it here in the end. I don't think Switzerland. I can see the tie. I don't think I'll see Switzerland win here that easily.
That's the thing. Switzerland has Balkan magic. Granit Xhaka, for example, perhaps the best player, is imported from Balkan countries, which is actually a reason why Serbia really doesn't like Switzerland that much, because they kept poaching their players. But yeah, they performed really well with that batch of players lately, and especially considering how difficult they made life for the teams they played against in the Euro Cup. I do think they deserve the respect.
I mean, that's a good point, but I think that was more of a fluke than really anything else. So, as much as I respect the the Swiss fortress, I don't think it'll pull through in the end. But again, I could be wrong there. I put 3-1 down more because I think the Serbians, with their Balkan aggression, can pull through in the end. But we'll have to see. But I have a feeling that the matches with Brazil, everyone thinks.
By the way, there's an interesting story behind both of these teams. Switzerland qualified for the World Cup, forcing Italy into the playoffs and then out of the tournament. So Switzerland basically caused the biggest upset in the qualifiers in Europe by forcing Italy into second place and then out. And Serbia nearly did the same with Portugal. They came first in their group, and Portugal came behind them and had to beat the teams in the playoff to still qualify. Yeah. So I would say both teams overperformed in the qualifiers, which at least means that Switzerland's result was not a fluke.
Yeah, so you think that that'll keep going on?
Yeah,
I
I think
I
on and
can
off.
I can see how that'll happen. It wouldn't surprise me, that's for sure. But I think they'll slip up in the
Yeah.
end. And it seems that well, Fake at least agrees with me, putting Switzerland last.
Well, if Fekka says it, then it must be true, right?
It must be true. Um, we can
Yeah,
move on to
I also
yeah, go ahead.
took a quick look at Cameroon, but yeah, their form is really worrying. They lost to South Korea, Uzbekistan, Equatorial Guinea in their last four matches. And the two players you probably only highlight there would be Andre Onana, who had impressive years at Ajax but was sidelined due to a yeah, potential performance enhancing drug issue. But he did become the first Inter goalkeeper during the season, so that's impressive. And there's a 70-year-old called Mukuku, who scored 10 goals in the Bundesliga already. But apart from that, I don't think Cameroon's squad is that good.
No, but that doesn't sound. It doesn't sound impossible.
Yeah.
I think interesting things can happen there, but
Yeah, it's
frankly,
definitely.
the bottom three of this can kind of go anyway.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I do say that this group is very competitive and would usually be able to make life difficult for each team. So I think Brazil will win here because the difference is just a little bit too much for the other three teams to make up.
yeah, I
But
think everyone agrees with that.
it's not going to give Brazil the easy walkovers they perhaps would have hoped for.
Hmm. Says the guy predicting an 0-4.
Yeah, at the end
Although,
because I think
yeah.
that's against Cameroon. I think and Cameroon by
Oh
then
yeah,
is
that won't
already
happen.
yeah
But
Cameroon. I think will be demotivated
saying
and
that, you have a
a bit.
2-0 for Brazil Switzerland, and
Yeah.
then a 3-0 for Brazil Serbia. You expect them to get no counter goals at all in the group phase. Where I predict a 3-2,
Yeah, I think
2-2, 1-2. So there's people predicting rougher score lines than that. But you think they'll just
yeah, I
cruise
think
through?
that they have I think Brazil's defense is really is something they have to worry about, but they have great class in goal, perhaps probably the best goalkeepers in the tournament, and they have so much quality in midfield and attack that I think all of those teams will just hang back and try to defend and perhaps counter.
Yeah, okay,
Uh,
that's
yes,
true. I mean, a goalkeeper isn't everything because you can put any
yeah,
as
of
good as a
course, of course.
goalkeeper is, you can just outplay them.
Yeah,
Um, but
yeah,
if what you say is true, and
yeah,
uh, that all the teams will just hang back, then yeah, I can see it happening. I don't think it will. I think
yeah,
Serbia at least will try,
yeah.
but this is not a very
These teams have a reputation of playing hard at least, but they also have a reputation for being able to lean on their defense.
yeah
So I expect that's something they're going to do against Brazil. And yeah, I honestly think they're. I think Brazil has bad luck because I think they're going to run into teams that they really won't enjoy playing against in the knockout phases. So that would be Uruguay, I think. Then perhaps uh, Germany, which is going to be fun either way, and then Argentina,
Yeah, I
and
would
all of
say
those.
when can they meet Argentina again and we can get another fun upset with
Yeah,
everyone predicting the Brazilian win and then Argentina pulling
yeah,
through.
yeah, but
Fucking hell.
yeah, in a similar way, I think Uruguay in its current form is too weak to really oppose Brazil, but Uruguay is also being able to make an actual battle out of a match. So, but yeah, they lack the overall quality. But Germany and Argentina definitely have to have a way to make the game a battle, and then be able to outclass Brazil
Look,
based
I'm
on.
not saying Brazil can't do well, but I'm also saying that we've had score lines before where other things happened with Brazil.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it'll happen again, but it
yeah.
really wouldn't surprise me if they have a match where they just utterly fucking collapse again.
Yeah, I
And it's
mean
just,
that's the expectation, but I think it will either come in the quarterfinals or semifinals.
yeah, I think so
Yeah,
too. I
yeah,
don't think there's a team that'll actually make them sweat until then.
yeah.
Um,
Well, your
so
scoreline indicates that they do sweat a little bit at least.
I think they will sweat, but I mean, a 3-2 against Serbia will be their worst moment
Yeah,
because I think against Cameroon nothing will happen, and Switzerland might be annoying, but I still have a 3-1 there. It's not exactly the
But
closest
I
match
also,
ever.
when I made these predictions, I would expect that TJ wouldn't be dumb enough to both play Dani Alves and Thiago Silva next to each other, who are, I think, 38 and 37 combined, 38 and 37. If he does that and plays a slow Marquinhos next to him, then things could go wrong earlier. But
What's
I
the
doubt.
worst that can happen? Is what
Yeah.
TJ said.
Yeah. So I mean, if they run into injuries, perhaps it could happen. But
Oh god, that'll be really funny. It's Brazilian attack that just can't do shit.
yeah, I mean, but even then, I would have to say their alternatives are Sandro, who's 31 and not having a great season at Juventus. They have Danilo, who's also 31 and also playing at Juventus and also not having a great season. Militao, I would actually play Militao
Now.
since he's part of a successful Madrid squad, but I don't think he always played. And then they have Teles, who I don't really know that well. Yeah, actually, he plays at Sevilla. Well, if there's anyone not having a great season at the moment, it's Sevilla. So I'm not sure Teles is going to play. And then they have Bremer, who's playing at Juventus as well, apparently. I didn't even know about Bremer, but I don't think he played too many matches. Actually, he did 13 matches. Okay. Well, okay, so either they play at a bad Juventus, or they play at an even worse Sevilla, or they're ancient, or they're Marquinhos, but Marquinhos, I do have to say, Marquinhos, I think, is a great defender, but he does have some weak points. He's not too tall, even though he's a decent header if he joins corners and free kicks. Then he's dangerous, but defensive-wise, he's vulnerable, and he's not too quick. And with the backs he have, or the defenders he has next to him, the Brazil squad is definitely vulnerable. So I think that's going to cost them eventually. I'm not sure how the BRs agree with me here, but I don't trust the Brazilian defense. That's what I'm basically saying, based on what
I think it can go kind of either way. I think it's not impossible for what you're saying to happen. It'll be interesting to say the least. I'm just putting in Bellcats already because I know she's gonna submit scores as well.
Yeah, after all of the teasing, surely she can do better than what we already did.
I mean, frankly, you could probably just kind of average out most people's predictions and get a pretty solid result.
But maybe she actually learns something from our podcast.
Come on, imagine like actually learning shit. That's not gonna fucking happen.
I know. So anything else about Group G we should talk about? I don't think so.
I don't think anything else really special is gonna happen there. Brazil could pull a funny, but I don't think that'll really really happen.
Fair enough. Do you want to lead on Group H?
Sure, I can do that. If you give me one quick second. So I'm just copying over stuff to test for Bellcant. Let's see, Group H. So these are currently your values.
Bellcant, are you going to join the bet or not? It would be nice to have more people join the bet as well.
I don't know. We'll see.
Can he or she stream? I'm not sure. What is the he or she?
Just use they. That's easy. Those are yours.
Yeah, that's the modern choice. Let's go with they.
Here it seems everyone has either Uruguay or Portugal as a victor. Me and the Black Wings think Uruguay will actually pull through, but everyone else seems to think Portugal will win.
Okay, yeah, I actually think this is an interesting group because I think all of these four teams go into the World Cup, in great form or in a way they wanted to. I think South Korea example is easiest to prove because their best player got injured. He will play, but he'll play with a mask on. And to be honest, most players I know, or in most of cases, people playing with masks on out of protection are not going to have great tournaments.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think you're right. Yeah.
I think South Korea will come dead last in this particular group, and they might even be a nomination for a team that gets blown away if it wasn't for the fact that the other teams aren't in great form either.
Korea and Ghana seem to be the consensus for the bottom two here, except for Spengler here going with Uruguay third, Korea second.
Okay.
Which I think is a very interesting prediction there.
Now, I mean, again, there's arguments to be made for the other two teams to be poor as well, but I don't think at least Uruguay is. I think Uruguay at the very least is going to be a step or a bridge too far. But yeah, Ghana, as I said, is not having a great time either because they only just qualified for the World Cup. They drew on points with South Africa, on points and goal difference. They only advanced to the playoff because they scored and conceded one more goal. Otherwise, South Africa would have been here. Then they needed extra time to see Nigeria off in the playoffs, as I said, and they came dead last in the Africa Cup group of 2021. They ended up last behind the Comoros, Gabon, and Morocco. In 2022, they lost matches to Algeria, Morocco, Comoros, Japan, Brazil, and they drew against the Central African Republic, Gabon, Nigeria twice, and Ethiopia. So I would say their form is horrible. But they do have one good player, Thomas Partey, who's also having a great season at Arsenal at the moment. They have a decent defensive line, I would say, along with Inaki Williams and Premier League players, and Mohamed Kudus, who's actually doing decent at Ajax, despite Ajax not doing great either. But yeah, their form is worst, is poor at best.
I mean, yeah, Korea and Ghana in the end of the bottom. Yeah, you have Ghana winning over Korea. I think could go either way.
I think Ghana has slightly better quality overall. So based on what I just said,
I'm not sure if it's enough for an upset to be impossible. Let me quickly see if I can find the actual match that they're playing, which is Korea and Ghana here. We've got 2 ties, 3 victories for Korea, and 4 for Ghana at the moment. With Belkat not knowing
that's
yet.
fun. Yeah,
it's one of the lower agree percentages. Not everyone really seems to know what's going to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
We also have, Croatia, Belgium, and no one has a fucking clue what's going on there.
Well, technically, someone will be proven correct, but we'll see.
Yeah, but it means basically everyone predicts roughly the same thing. Sorry, we all predict equally oppositely.
Wait, Belkat's scores are all the same as mine?
Yeah, because I just copied yours to test.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I figured you already sent in the results, but no, okay, fine.
No, not yet. Just filling it in for now.
Fair enough.
I think the last group, I think it'll be kind of like the other ones we've seen before. Korea and Ghana are going to knock it out in Uruguay and Portugal, and who actually is the winner of either of those two duels? I think it's a toss-up.
I think the other two teams will get eliminated next in knockout round, though, because as I said, the other two teams are not in a great place either. Uruguay used to have a defensive line that played at Atletico Madrid, but those days are absolutely gone. They used to have great forwards like Forlan and Suarez, both are gone too. And their best defender at the moment is Araujo, and he's injured. And without him, there's just not that much quality in the defense left. They do have some quality with Federico Valverde, who's playing at Real Madrid and who's doing really well there. They have Darwin Núñez, who's not found his best form at Liverpool yet, but is still good. But they lost so much overall quality in other places in the squad that I don't think they feel great. And the results of Uruguay show that they're not in a great place either. They nearly didn't qualify, and only did so because they won their last 4 matches. Otherwise, a team
Still,
like
that's
Colombia would have.
it's good momentum.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
true.
mean,
But
let me take a look at Uruguay Portugal, which is the other match in that.
Portugal has similar issues. Their brightest stars. I mean, we all know what's happening with Ronaldo. But yeah, a lot of their stars are in bad form as well. I mean, Ronaldo is a substitute at Manchester United and is now throwing the kitchen sink at.
Ten Hag.
Yeah, exactly. But even when he plays, he needs a lot of chance to score, not just at Manchester United, but also at Portugal. His teammate Bruno Fernandes is in really poor form since the start of this year. Joao Felix has been poor since he joined Atletico, and the Manchester City defense that is simply not too reliable this year, which means that it reflects badly on the likes of Joao Cancelo and Ruben Diaz.
But you still have them winning though against Uruguay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because the rest of the group aren't great either. But yeah, Diogo Jota will miss the World Cup. But I think Portugal has 2 new talents that I think will be the future of the Portuguese squad. Vitinha and Nuno Mendes, they both play at PSG. Especially Mendes has great pace, high work rate, physical strength, and a decent cross. But yeah, as I said, the rest of the squad is just not in great form at the moment.
No, but it seems most people think that Portugal will win here. Me and Finboy have a tie. Black wins, of course. A South American fanatic is the only one who think Uruguay will actually win.
I'm not sure how much he likes Portugal either, but fine.
No, but I think a lot of people think that Portugal they'll either win or tie.
Yeah.
And the tie, I mean, for me, it's the 2-2, which is like a bit like the scenario I mentioned.
I mean, it wouldn't be, to be honest, it wouldn't completely surprise me if Uruguay pulled off an upset here. But yeah, if Uruguay had better form and slightly better quality, resembling the squad of 4 years ago, I would have put them first in a heartbeat. But yeah, because I think both teams are in a bad place at the moment, I just have to go with Portugal at the moment.
Yeah, not too wrong. So, Shadow, I think we actually share a lot of outcomes. So it's going to be interesting to see how our scores are gonna match up, because I think we share most of the win lose, at least. Like, of course, not scores, but you know, it's going to be interesting. Some random. Oh yeah, of course. You know the I don't know. Do you have any strange predictions? I mean, not that I can see. No, I think it'll come for the knockout phase, like that game where I think you were the only one who predicted that. I think the tie it was. I don't know. I think you're putting Uruguay as the winner too. I think, like Spam said, I can definitely see Uruguay winning here. I have them as a tie, but a tie is a situation that can so easily fall both other ways. But I think what will happen is that Portugal will pull ahead in the 2-1, and then Uruguay will make the equalizer pretty late. But we'll have to see.
Exactly. So
yeah.
I think the biggest discussion perhaps would be, who do you think will win the tournament?
You know, just looking at I know the betting markets have Brazil on top.
Yeah.
Most people here seem to think Brazil will win. We have 5 people choosing Brazil. Yeah. I think if they lose one of their players, like what you mentioned, and they have to put up some pretty old strikers, I think it can go topsy-turvy. Yeah. Looking at it now, I think they can get they have a very good shot at winning the whole thing. But
I think I already said why I don't fully trust the Brazil squad. In 2021, they also shown they can be outworked, and that's with not assuming there are going to be injuries. That's going to be impossible to predict anyway. But even if the first choice in defense are just not great, because as I said, it's going to be, even if Militao plays and Marquinhos plays, that would still leave them with weak wingbacks and at the very least a slow central defender. They will have Casemiro in midfield that will be able to help keep the balance, but Argentina has shown that Brazil can be outworked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think they're going to run into a lot of teams that will outwork them. As I said, it's going to be Uruguay, perhaps Serbia, Argentina, Germany. I think all of those matches could be potential losses if they are not careful. And if their opponents also have the quality, like Germany and Argentina, I would rate their opponents perhaps higher. And that's also because not a lot of people seem to trust TJ as a coach, including me. I think he relies on the individual quality of his players and doesn't really have a plan like Scaloni has with Argentina.
I mean, your points are all good. I don't know. I think it'll be I think it'll be much easier to actually say something once the tournament has started, and we can say something about their form.
Of course, but that's the reason why we do this before.
That's the reason why we're doing it now.
Yeah.
I think with Uruguay and the other players like Argentina, especially, I think Argentina is maybe would be my second choice. Because
I don't think it's a hot take to say they're better at fighting football, which I think you completely agree with. And I gave you an example where Argentina won based not on individual quality, but based on work rate and by being able to disrupt the opponents.
And that's how they won last year in the Copa America.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone thought Brazil would sweep that, and Argentina took it away from the end. And I don't think it's impossible for that to happen again. But I don't know. I'm kind of guessing here that Argentina might slip up before. And the thing is that the Copa America match last year could have easily gone the other way. But it didn't. It was a shit show for Brazil.
I don't recall the match too well, but I think Argentina had better XG overall too, because Brazil also got frustrated and started to complain to the referee a lot. And
that game was poor. I don't remember 100% sure what they had.
But I think
I can find it actually, but.
But
I remember that game being very poor for Brazil.
It was, but that's actually Argentina's strength. They can really kill the pace of a game by doing what they did there. I think against tough opponents, that's exactly what they'll do, and that will work out for them because they're used to it. It's possible, of course, that there's going to be a referee that's not having any of it and will start handing out yellow and red cards. In that case, they're fucked, perhaps. But if
okay, it was an 0-1. No, okay, so it's not as bad as I remember. I remember it being worse, but it seems like I think that game could have gone the other way so easily. But it's going to be interesting to see what'll happen here.
I mean, it's whatever we discuss. The tournament will probably be decided by a few distinctive moments anyway. So in that case, you just go by what you think at the moment. I mean, no one has Germany as the winners, I think, but
no one had Germany as the winner.
But but I wouldn't be completely surprised if it's Germany after all. So
Germany last time. I mean, I could look it up
bloody
well right now. They flunked in some games.
Yeah,
Germany ended up at like they weren't last, but they were poor.
That was the Euro Cup, but they did even worse. They did even worse in the World Cup. They came last, perhaps. They have I wouldn't say a completely different squad, but they have completely different managers this time. I do trust Flick to be a good manager, since he also shown us at Bayern München that he was effective enough to do that. He won the Champions League with great conviction. That's perhaps the strongest Bayern I've seen. And if you don't count the Nations League, all of his results have been good so far. And again, I think Germany, as I said, has the strongest midfield in the game at the
Yeah.
moment. But I do have worries about their. They have great goalkeepers as well, by the way. But I'm slightly worried about the defenders, mostly Tilo Kehrer, who I've seen at PSG and is just pretty poor all around.
I think that'll be interesting to see in the knockout phase.
Yeah.
Because if Germany is a very strong contender, because what we did last time is we had people fill out the entire expectations for the rest of the finals.
Yeah,
I
we
think
did.
Germany could make it pretty far.
Yeah.
Last time people predicted, I mean, Orlov predicted Germany in the finals, and a lot of people predicted them to make it to the semis, but
It was a bit of a
they
toss up.
fucking where are they?
It was a bit of a toss up,
Yeah,
honestly,
they
because
lost to England.
they lost to England, which to me was a complete toss up. And afterwards, the road to the final was pretty easy. So if they won that, they could have made the final as well, I think. So
I guess. I mean, afterwards,
yeah, they played
yeah,
they played Ukraine and they played Denmark afterwards. So I think Germany could have won there as well.
it could be. Um, I'm curious to see what will happen here. I think it'll be. I think for half the groups, it's going to be fairly clear to see who is going to win here, or who's going to advance at least to the knockout. I mean, Uruguay, Portugal, Brazil, Serbia seems to be the consensus. Switzerland makes it up pretty far as well. Belgium and Croatia, Germany and Spain, France and Denmark, Argentina. Well, here the number 2 is not certain. England here very certain. Number 2 is a bit of a toss up. Most people seem to think Wales. Netherlands, and then it's a bit of a toss up between Ecuador and Senegal.
Yeah, I don't see why people are so optimistic about Ecuador, honestly, because again, they're not playing at high altitude at the moment.
I think these are teams where people just know less about it. That's certainly what it was for me. So it's very difficult because what I I usually fall back on memory. Like, what was my feel with them last time I played here?
Yeah, that's true. That's why I did a minimum amount of research, but I'm not blaming you if you don't want to. And Finboy, you're correct. I mean, perhaps the stream attracted more people that wanted to participate. In fact, Belkat already decided to join. If people,
No, she decided earlier if she forgot.
that's fine.
if anyone still wants to join, feel free.
Yeah,
Of course,
the
it's
more
always,
people, the better.
it's always
That
fun.
also means more punishment games because the more people we have joined, that means that we have more losers, which means more
Depends.
punishment games. It means more fun,
We currently
more.
have 6 people in the punishment game.
So that means more Prince of Persia like games, which Nitro fully enjoyed. I remember.
So bad. So
couldn't even
frustrating
finish.
to play.
Couldn't even finish the 2 hours. No, he made an excuse to not finish the 2 hours.
Did I not finish it? I finished the 2 hours. I'm 100%
You
sure I finished.
You started the stream at some point. The stream was 2 hours, but you didn't play 2 sessions of an hour, which we stipulated.
I think it's because that game is time limited as well. Remember?
Yeah.
And we had some bullshit there. I think I cut it short by maybe like 10 minutes because like, I can't even get around.
You got it short by 10 minutes or something, so it's not all bad. But if
Nitro
people
is
don't
more
remember it,
please, no.
Nitro uploaded it to YouTube. Watch it if you want to laugh. So, should we discuss the top scorers as well? Even though it could perhaps be a complete crapshoot because
That's a crapshoot, man. We have 3 people predicting Kane.
Yeah.
Which I think is, I think it's just a gamble. Like you said earlier, it's a possible Messi just makes a massive like 9-0 upset. Well, not an upset, but like a explosion against one team and just dominates the score. It could be that, I don't know, Kane breaks his fucking leg in the first match. There go all your predictions.
Exactly. Now, I mean, what I wanted to say here is that we had high expectations of Mbappe last time as well.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Mbappe finished the Euro Cup with 0 goals and a missed penalty. So who knows?
Well, you say that. We had 2 people Mbappe. We had 2 people for Lukaku, Dutch guy. 2 people for Depay, which is Dutch. Immobile is another Frenchman. And Kane again.
I think Immobile was Italian, actually.
He's Italian, sorry. But in the end, it was Ronaldo. Ronaldo, Sheik, and an own goal. Those were the winners.
Actually, yeah, if we counted correctly, it was only own goal because there were 9 own goals.
Yeah, you're right. It was only own goal, but no, I couldn't do that, so I just I put Ronaldo and Schick there as well.
Now, Schick was definitely the revelation of the tournament, and that's another reason for me to think.
I think Germany can do so well.
Actually, he was Czech, but
Sorry,
they're not.
yeah, you're right.
But I
But
think
they ended low, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I would still say he has a good future ahead of him. He's still doing pretty well this year, I suppose. It's a bit of a shame he can't be here this year, but oh well. But yeah, I do want to say that I don't think teams like France and England will focus on scoring a lot of goals, which is why I think Brazil, despite having relatively high opposition, that they will edge out on goals because again they will play 7 matches, I expect at the very least.
And they also play some weak teams in their group. Like,
yeah, I don't think Brazil plays a lot of weak teams. I mean, Cameroon is the weakest.
But I think against Cameroon they can make a big scoreline.
Yeah, they can. I mean, I gave them 4-0 lead as well.
4-0, it wouldn't that match could just as easily be 6-0.
Yeah, but
if they have some 3-1s, 3-0s, 2-0s, they'll get pretty high. Because remember, this is absolute goals. So even if they play a 3-2, that's still fucking 3 goals.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you pick a top scorer, you need to have at least someone that takes the penalties, which is usually Kane and Messi, of course, and Mbappe. But I think with Messi you also have free kicks that can be very useful here, and of course
that's not
team
wrong.
that that plays in his service basically. So. Yeah, but it's also possible, of course, especially if the rest of the Argentina squad is not that great and Lo Celso's replacement can't really be found in this tournament, that opponents will just put 4 or 3 men on Messi, like
and
they do.
Just shut him down. Yeah.
Yeah, they completely shut him down, which happened to Messi in the previous tournaments as well. But because they think, at the very least, that Argentina has better threats or more threats this time, especially with Martinez and Di Maria, you can't put 4 or 3 people on Messi all the time, which they used to do at Barcelona at the very least. And I think Argentina also has a really exciting striker named Alvarez, who is doing really well when Haaland can't play at City. So they definitely have more flavors than just Messi up front this year.
I think it'll be interesting to see. I just don't know enough about it in the end. And we'll need to see where our It's Coming Home meter goes to.
It isn't. I think we can already fill that one in.
it's a rude chap. Yeah. Everyone has them winning the group, so you could argue that it's going a little maybe a little bit to it is,
Yeah, until they run into France and then get kicked out, I think we'll see.
It's a continuously changing meter, and it wouldn't surprise me if they fucking die after the first few matches. Because I think their group is weak enough with Wales, Iran, that there's no chance they won't make it to knockout. But as soon as they meet like a real team, that they just collapse.
Well, I think they have. I mean, in my predictions, they run into the Netherlands in the round of 16, which I think England wins because they have so much more quality on paper than the Netherlands. But afterwards, I think the party's up.
Ooh. I looking at it now, I would agree. I don't think the Dutch team is really going to do well beyond the groups at all. Again, that can change. We've had really good runs before that would then crumble against an opponent where it shouldn't have.
Then again, that's in my prediction where the Netherlands come second. If the Netherlands come first, especially since Mane won't play in the first match, then they run into a team like Wales, the USA, or Iran. They'll win that, I expect. I mean, they're weaker than the Czech Republic, but afterwards they play Argentina in the quarterfinals, and then we just
then they die. Then we just die. There's no fucking way that'll happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's a decent prediction. If the Netherlands make it beyond the quarterfinals.
In fact,
It's
if the
not
Netherlands
happening.
play Argentina with this squad, it might actually be the biggest victory for Argentina in the entire tournament. But
I mean, I don't think you're gonna be that wrong there, unfortunately.
yeah.
I haven't. Yeah, I could never get to. Damn it! I
You
can.
can guess. By the way, I've been very popular at work when I said that.
I can imagine.
That's why I'm
I
sticking.
remember. I remember now why I didn't fill these in yet. Is because
Yeah.
I used the Google Sheet overview real quick, and they don't list the. They don't list who will be here. That's a very interesting. Why can I watch this match? Oh, it's just previous
That's a
encounters.
preview. So
Okay.
if you want to bet, then do it now. Lewandowski against Messi. Surely it will be an interesting match. No, it won't. Okay, I
I
think.
mean, Argentina and Poland could be interesting, but
Yeah.
it's a big upset. If Argentina doesn't win, that'll be very strange. If they don't win their group,
Yeah.
I think. I mean, yeah, I've got them on. I mean, if you look at my predictions right now, the Netherlands has 7 goals, England has 6, Argentina has 10, France has 7, Germany has 6, Belgium has 7, 3 for Brazil, which is quite low, and then 2 for Portugal. And I mean, I don't think anyone's suggestions are going to be that different. Maybe the Black wins with being a Argentina hater, only on 7.
He told me he told me actually. I mean, in this case, he's not part of an actual bet, but in real life, where he made a bet for money, he actually bet on Argentina to win.
I mean, it's not a stupid choice
No.
because if sure you can bet on Brazil, but your returns are going to be shit.
Yep.
So
It's still 6 point something, 6.5, I think. So it's not horrible, but apparently he doesn't trust the Brazilian squad either. And if the BR master doesn't trust BR,
let's see
then who am I?
what are the odds?
I think 6.
Whatever. No, go to UK. Fuck off. Outrights. Brazil seems. We can see. So Brazil is highest.
Yep.
Then we have Spain, fucking Netherlands.
Yeah, I think Spain
Oh wait,
is
sorry,
way.
no, it's already sorry, it's 28/5. So it's Brazil, Argentina, France,
Yeah.
Spain,
No,
England,
I still
Germany,
think
Netherlands,
teams
Portugal,
like Spain
Belgium.
and I think Spain and the Netherlands and Portugal are rated too high. Belgium as well. I would actually rate teams like Senegal and Croatia and Switzerland higher than those
Well,
teams.
Switzerland has that cool 125/1. So
Yep. I mean,
frankly, put a euro in all of them. You're probably okay. You're not going to make money on that, but
actually, yeah, probably not. But I mean, Switzerland is not going to win it, of course. But I think I would rate teams like Switzerland, Croatia, like I said, higher than, and Denmark higher than the current Spain.
Denmark at 33/1.
Yeah.
I mean, Finboy bet on Serbia, I think,
Yeah.
which is 120/1 here. I don't know where he bet, but
He'll be able to retire
freaking
if
bet
he.
on Costa Rica 1,000/1.
Yeah.
Put a buck on that. You're making the big bucks.
Yeah.
You should have held out longer. Yes, you should have. Let's see who's the top scorer. Kane is top actually. That might be English bias though,
Yeah, I think
considering we are on an English site.
yeah.
Sorry, this is an aggregator actually, so never mind. Mbappe,
Yeah,
Messi.
I have no trust. I have no trust, and especially I saw him walk around the pitch like an old man in the Euro Cup, and it hasn't been approved at Tottenham. He mostly scored penalties at Tottenham this year, so I really don't think he's.
I'm surprised to see Lukaku and Depay that high. I would not have put Depay that at 28/1. Like
Absolutely not. The guy didn't
hell
play a
no.
single match this season yet.
Lewandowski at 50/1.
In
Not gonna
fact,
happen. They're gonna leave too quickly.
I would also say Karim Benzema is rated too low. The Black Wings is going to enjoy Gabriel Jesus in the actual mix here.
No, you gotta pronounce it Jesus. That's much more applicable.
Okay, yeah, I said the second coming of Jesus, but he didn't like it that much. But well, but yeah, are there any hot takes from chat that we should discuss?
Let's see anything interesting else here. First time winner, no or yes. I mean, I think that's a yes. Because you have either Brazil, Argentina. I mean, come on, no one has a first time win. Okay, Denmark, sure, but no one else. No one has a serious
World Cup
first
predictions, Shuka. So actually, we did nearly all of the predictions yet. So
to reach final. So Brazil and France is the highest for a final. England third, which is not impossible, but okay, same odds as Argentina. Same odds as Spain. I would put Argentina above both of these two.
exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure why. I mean, honestly, I think it's mostly because people remember part of the Argentina squad being average at best. But even a player like Otamendi, who's been ridiculed for years, rightfully so, this year has a great season at Benfica. So at this rate, I wouldn't even remove Otamendi. So at Lisandro Martinez, who I didn't think was a great defender either, has suddenly become the fan favorite at Manchester United, and Manchester United actually managed to improve. So, yeah, the Argentinians are not doing that bad. In fact, the only person I would really worry about, apart from, of course, whether they be able to find a replacement for Lo Celso, is Paredes, because he hasn't impressed at all in the past 2 years. But yeah.
Okay. Here's my free money tip. If you want, let's see, where is it? Group C. Where is it? Outright winner. It's shit odds. Yeah, if you want free money, bet on Argentina to win.
Yeah.
Like
I think you get the best odds for that because Argentina is underrated, but we both think that I think most people here would agree they have a good chance.
Everyone thinks Argentina is going to win. It would be a big upset if Argentina doesn't win. Like it could in theory happen if they tie Poland or Mexico and then they both win their two other games. But even then I suspect Argentina is going to pull through on goal score. Like, come on. It'll be a very strange day if it goes the other way around. Same with like team to score most in group. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be easy. Some of these bets are stupid, man. Winning Confederation. Huh. That's actually pretty even odds. Well, okay, it's not very even odds, but you know.
Yeah, you can. There's some interesting bets here, but I'd rather not encourage betting.
Here you go. This is what I'm. Argentina team total goals betting odds. If they score over 9 goals, it's a 1. You just get nothing. I mean, you get your bet back.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, I wouldn't take it.
Now, strangely enough, I wouldn't take that either.
Oh.
But it seems that our thoughts are a bit different from the betting markets, but not extremely.
But I do have to say, I think on average, I don't think the betting markets are that well informed this time. So, but of course that's going to blow up. Of course, that's going to blow up in our faces when we are absolutely wrong. Of course.
We're actually wrong, and Kane is going to be top scorer. Brazil's going to win. It'll be. Oh, yeah, this is not going to bet at all. It'll be a Brazil-France final.
Yeah. How did you not see that coming, you idiots? Oh.
Yeah, how did you not see that coming? Say the betting markets. Yeah, I mean, if you want to meme.
Yeah.
If there's anything, is there anything stupid? I mean, I know last time, some guy bet that 3-3 on France Switzerland, and then also a 3-3 on the other match that was a pretty big upset.
Yeah.
And that guy made fat fucking stacks. That was ridiculous.
He wasn't Chinese, was he?
No, I think it was European, but I don't remember exactly. I'm not even sure where.
For the people that don't know, there was a scandal for some years that there were Chinese people sitting on the stadium with a phone and would contact their betting officers and to have the matches rigged and all. But it's probably just for insiders.
Why do I have that?
No, I'm not just racist to Shuka. I'm just racist.
He's just normal racist.
Yeah, exactly. I can say that as an Asian myself. So
Yeah, you're not. You're just a banana. Come on, that doesn't
exactly.
count. Um, anything here? I mean, I'm sure. Let's see, Brazil, Cameroon. I'm sure if you bet on Cameroon, there, you're gonna make mad money.
Yeah, and as we said, actually, if you want to get decent odds, my recommendation would actually be Saudi Arabia, because I don't think they're as poor as they're depicted
People are
here.
predicting.
Yeah, because
They're betting against Saudi Arabia hard.
yeah, very hard. I mean, I think they were the team that came second lowest in overall odds. Well, again, they did manage to qualify first in their group to qualify for the World Cup, and their form overall has been pretty good, and they have a semi-home advantage. So, if you do want to lose your money, perhaps bet on Saudi Arabia winning a match, and you get a good amount of money back.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I don't advise anyone to really bet here. The
yeah,
chance of
me
you
neither.
losing money is a
You
little
had,
too high.
yeah,
Don't follow any advice you hear here, by the way. We are just morons.
yes, exactly. But if you gave a hot betting tip, I should do as well.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if you just look at people's predictions here, like I'm not saying we're gonna follow the betting market exactly, but 10 people, 10 idiots together, usually produce one coherent thought.
Yep. Well, unless you get Feka in the mix, then you
Yeah,
bet
but
again.
okay, then you're gonna have Denmark as a top scoring person.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Overall, do I think anyone's gonna over? I don't think. I'm not sure who will overperform with their predictions here. I think there are a few outliers, but I think in the end it'll be quite even. We've seen previous years. There's usually someone, read me, who makes a few really stupid predictions and then loses out because of those.
Exactly. I mean, we also say that everyone has a chance, but the differences in score eventually turn out to be pretty decent.
Here we have last year, and
Yeah,
if you look at the European Cup, we see that the difference in the end is around 300 points, 340 points here. Just not insignificant, but
you're not counting the
Oh
Copa
wait, no,
America.
sorry, Sundar didn't participate in the end. I think. So if you look here, that's 300 points exactly. So
Actually, I got my most of my points from the Copa America, so that's unexpected.
you did relatively better in the Copa America, but the difference is because the European Cup
Yeah.
it had more matches, so there was more score there. Comparatively, you did basically the same here. But in the end, if Argentina hadn't tied Brazil for top scorer, I would have been doing so much better. But no, of course not. Shadow had to win there at the end to beat me.
Yeah, and Neymar was one goal away from tying Messi as well as top scorer. So
Yeah.
oh
I think
well,
the same indeed happened there. Well, that's the way it always works,
exactly. We said it already. One or two moments will decide everything. So anyway, yeah. Is there anything else? No hot takes from chat. So I mean, we could decide to do another podcast like this once the group phase is over, or once the tournament. I
think we
suppose.
can do that. See what people predict for the group matches. We could maybe do it in between, depending on if interesting shit happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough people watching at the moment, so. And oh well,
yeah,
I
no. If
think
anyone else wants to send in their predictions, feel free. There's a document in most Discords with a sports channel, and you too can make hot takes that turn out to be incredibly wrong. Like, I don't know, Mr. Spam here predicting that Poland will beat Mexico, despite no one really agreeing with that, or predicting that Qatar will beat Ecuador, which barely anyone predicts as well.
exactly. So yeah, but do make sure you actually take part in the bet, or you'll be a weenie like the Black Wins, of course.
We've got more weenies. Feka
Yeah.
doesn't participate. Orlov doesn't. Shadow only does it with me, because we have the personal bet that if I lose to him, I have to roll from his really shitty games wheel.
And Belka doesn't want to participate either. It's like the black, or it's like all the BRs are weenies at the moment.
He's trying to to egg them on. Just say Argentina is better a few more times, and I'm sure they'll come over to kick your ass.
Exactly.
I know it's on that shitty. I think I've purged it from my memory because the games were that bad. Scooby Doo and James Bond. But I completed Big James Bond and Scooby Doo, but I think there are other games than the ones I already played.
There's games out there that are much worse for Nitro.
More of them. Oh god. No, but these are shitty. Okay, trust me, there's really bad games out there, and I've played too many of them, unfortunately.
Even games that were considered really good, but Nitro doesn't like them because he's Nitro.
There's not that many of those.
I mean, you played Stronghold, you hated it. You played Prince of Persia, you hated it.
And the thing with Prince of Persia 1 is that it's just a very clunky game, and I appreciated it for what it was, but that just didn't age that well. Like,
you have to get. I know you have to get
when it
used.
released.
You have to get used to the controls, but you had a lot of complaints that weren't that valid. But still fun to watch, of course.
Hey,
but Stronghold was definitely a good example.
Stronghold was just me being very annoyed by very minor things in general.
Yeah, like losing on level 5 for multiple times. I get it.
Look, I'm blaming the game there. It couldn't have been me.
Right. I think it's time to wrap up, unless you have something else to throw.
No, we have 5 more days till the first match. I'm sure the opening match is going to be very uninteresting.
Exactly.
But that's just the way it is.
That's just Qatar, baby.
Yeah, the opening match being Qatar against Ecuador, where only a single person, 3 people predicted more than 1 goal. So most people expect this to be a 1-0 snore fest.
Exactly. And then it will be 4-3 or something like that, but who knows?
Of course, that wouldn't bloody surprise me. Anyway, that's going to be that from us.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for watching. I hope you have some really solid betting advice from that you can totally not use in the end. And we're going to see.
You're completely safe to ignore this all of this.
Exactly. How everyone performs in the end.
Even though I did the research, and I feel a little bit sad about it, but no.
Look, no matter how much research you do, in the end, you're always going to get beaten by one guy getting a lucky kick.
You would say it doesn't pay off, but so far, each bet at the end, I could give a punishment game. So
that's true. All right.
Yeah.
Cheers,
see you
everyone.
around.
And see you next time for some football fun.